huge card on slate today.
15-game card. It's us versus the bookies. Bases loaded, high noon. It's going to be a showdown.
On a suddenly not so casual Friday, the buy hat is engaged. Will Cam Schlittler continue home dominance tonight in the Bronx? Will Jacob, my new nickname, the Robot Mizorowski, throw a gem in Atlanta tonight? Find out now on MLB Bases Loaded. It is Friday, the final Friday of the spring, 2026, June the 19th. Happy Juneteenth, people. We are here. We are now ready to dominate. Mike, what's going on this morning, brother?
My guy, you want to talk about something? Let me tell you guys this. Let me school everybody on this here. We talk about work and then play, right? We don't need to come out here and put stupid clips on. We're going to talk to you guys about the real haps on the craps, and it's 24 units since June 1st. We play later. We work right now. That's what you're here to do. 15 and a half units the last 14 days. 8 and a quarter units the last week. That is kicking butt, taking names, making money. And we're doing it here on Bases Loaded. I got my guy Shark ready to roll. It's a 14-gamer today, man, but we will not be devoid of action. We've had a really nice week. We've had a really nice 2 weeks. We've had a really nice month. And I expect as things continue, it will only get bigger. Shark, happy Friday, my guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is where it gets good. And, we've been telling you guys for months, just stay the course, manage your bankroll so you can see the light of day. The light has come. It is June. It is the final Friday of June. And we're not waiting around. If you guys are in the chat, if you're at work, if you're getting off early, hop in, talk to us, enjoy some conversation. If you guys are on the West Coast, I got coffee next to me. Get some coffee and get ready to dominate. It is a suddenly not so casual Friday, June the 19th, 2026. And let's get down to business. Not waiting around. We're going matinee baseball. I said it yesterday at the outro of the show. We're talking business now. We're going to Wrigley. We're going 220. That is 120 local. Cubs opening up a series against the Blue Jays over the weekend. Interleague baseball, big dog stuff. Ben Brown against Kevin Gausman. Generational gap. Gausman about 9 years older than this guy. Mike, I was looking at it before. I'm excited to discuss what's going on here.
Interesting game for sure. The Blue Jays, the Cubbies, Wrigleyville, afternoons. I commented on this a couple weeks ago. I made the question that is this one of those situations like when you're going to Yankee Stadium and you get the big bright lights against the pinstripes out there? Is there something with Friday afternoon baseball in Wrigleyville? And, not too long ago, they couldn't play night games in Chicago. So the reality is that, yes, there is something going on. It is a Cubs spot. It is a, situation where you've got the bright lights of Yankee Stadium and the pinstripes, except it's in Wrigleyville. The Cubs early Fridays against American League East opponents, speaking of the Yankees, at Wrigleyville are 11-3 of the last 21 seasons. It has been Cubs domination. And yeah, I'll see that Gausman just had a nice little start out there. I'll see that spot and I'll raise it one here. Benny Brown has been on fire. And I think that's enough to go out there and cool these bats down. Yes, Gausman just came off of 7 innings. He needed it. He had given up a bunch of runs in this previous couple of starts, including home runs. So while I don't see that being the case here, we also know that when you're sitting there with a total of 7, well, you know what the wind's doing. So I like the under in this case as well. So give me the Cubbies. I like this little $1.25. Minus 122. This line wasn't out last night when I put the graphics together. So there you have it. But I'm going to go with the Chicago Cubs. I was telling Shark yesterday, man, I don't like giving out some of these early game picks, the first game on the card, but today I do. Cubs at home on a low total off a win are an under squad. Home favorites against the interleague have cashed 10 in a row to the under. Give me the under. Give me the Cubs. Smash it. Let's cash it.
I like that. Smash it. Let's cash it. This must be Friday afternoon. I agree. I have both under and Cubs. And just jumping off it, Mike, I completely align with everything you said. And let's talk about Ben Brown for a second. Friendly reminder, guys, 3 years ago, the Cubs were trying to angle their rotation with 3 names: Ben Brown, Justin Steele, and Cade Horton. Horton and Steele both on the IL. This rotation looks nothing like the projection a couple years ago, but Ben Brown has come back to the center stage here. This guy is back. I've been talking about these guys from Long Island. He's one of these Ward Melville guys. Anthony Kay, older. Steven Matz, Ben Brown, 26, 6'6", throwing flames. This guy at home this year has been an absolute genius. He's 2-0 versus the home under. He's 1-0 versus the home under on matinees, 3-2 win in extras on a Saturday against San Francisco. And he is performing finally to expectation. I think this is a great spot to fade Toronto, Mike. You look at Toronto yesterday, catching a sweep at Boston. Couple things on that. One, inside of the division rival, and Trey Savage pitching against the Red Sox, who flat out cannot do anything at Fenway Park. Now, you come off a sweep, you go out of division, interleague, to where the Cubs perform great. And final point on this, Mike, as you said, this is not coincidental that the Cubs dominate these teams at home at 2:20. These teams don't play in the middle of Friday afternoon ever on their calendar. The Cubs are normalized here. They're ready for the moment. Other teams are napping. I see a pitcher's duel. I see Ben Brown coming out on top. Take the under 7.5. Take the Cubs on the money line. If you guys are backing the Cubs, type Cubs in the chat. Let's ramp it up, people. We are here on Friday. Let's get the chat going. Let's dominate and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card. A lot of evening baseball tonight on this Friday. First game in the evening slate. We're going to Detroit. Divisional baseball here. Tigers, White Sox opening up a weekend series. Eric Fetty at Tarek Skubal. You want to talk about some intrigue. I bring you the Detroit Tigers. This team is potentially gutting their team in the next month. Big names on the block, none bigger than Tarek Skubal himself. A lot of quotes yesterday from Skubal saying, I try not to let this get to me, but this might be my last month with the team. Mike, last month with the team, does he shove, or is this really kind of a funeral environment?
Oh, man, he's looking to go out there and put on a show. Are you kidding me? He said it, but what he really meant to say was, I can't wait to get the fuck out of the 313, man. And it stinks a little bit like garbage. And he might not be wrong. I haven't been to Detroit in a minute, but I do remember some foul odors when I was in that vicinity. No disrespect to our Detroit brethren out there, but you know, the White Sox coming off of that series against the Yankees, obviously a big win yesterday. Just can't get there with Fetty. If you fade Fetty on the road, you have been in the profit. You're 28-9. Kind of an interesting spot, though, because you do have this Skubal situation. So, you know what I looked at here was the good old fire it up first 5 team total under 1.5 for the White Sox. Got a minus 123. There's some minus 130s, minus 135s, 140s, 150s. I think Skubal goes out there and shoves. You know, his first 5 minus a half is minus 150. So I ultimately just looked at this one and said, you know, I think Detroit probably does get the win. They probably get the run line on top of it. I don't want to back these teams at minus 232. There's a couple on the schedule today that fall under that arena that I'm just not getting in the game with here. But I'll take that White Sox team total first 5 under 1.5 and just hope Skubal does go out there and put the tape together to get yourself sent to Philadelphia.
Yeah, I think he'll pitch well. I'm not sure Detroit really comes through for him with the bats. However, if you look at Fetty has looked terrible on the road, but it's very situational. He's looked really poor at Western starts out of the division exclusively. He's actually been elite in road starts divisional. 8-0 win at Minnesota, tight one at Kansas City. I'm looking at these quotes, though, Mike, and I rarely ever quote guys on the show. And we probably should do it more often because it's good psychology for these guys. Something that I did not like from Skubal, quote, it's another big series. You don't want to be playing playoff baseball in June, but it feels like we're playing playoff baseball. Okay, so let me unpack that for you for a second. I don't want my best players saying we don't want playoff urgency in June. I want every game to be a playoff game for these guys. Like if I was on the team, I'd say, guys, it's not the playoffs, but we're gamers. We show up to ball. I want like a Jalen Brunson quote where it's like November 10th and he's like, every game is a playoff game. The fact that Skubal's saying we don't want to play playoff baseball in June is horrible psychology for me. So I think the Tigers actually might lose this game despite the fact that he pitches well. I haven't gotten there yet, but as I said, Fetty is a lot better road in the division, and this psychology for the Tigers I think is absolutely terrible. I think they're going to gut the team. Flaherty's going to be gone. Kenley Jansen is going to be gone. Gleyber Torres might move on. They might move Casey Mize, and Skubal is the blue chip who gets moved. When you're going to move your entire roster in a month, these guys don't show up looking around like it's, the future is now. They're looking around like it's a vacation and they're about to go out the door. Just some psychology there. I think the White Sox actually could win this game, but I do think Skubal will pitch well. Mike, any further comments or keep it moving?
Yeah, I got a little thought about that. I mean, I don't mind these guys saying they don't want to be playing playoff baseball in June. They got 162 games. The teams that peak early, we talk about it all the time, and I talk about it with the Flyers, particularly in hockey. In November, they're sitting at the top of the Eastern Conference, and they're too stupid to realize they should lose. They're playing too hard, and that means that they're getting a draft pick that's around like the middle of the pack or the bottom of the draft out there. Like, take your time. The veterans know. The real ones know, like, hey, man, we don't have to panic. We might be down 2-1 in the series. We don't have to panic. We don't have to play like it's game 7. So the psychology changes in the playoffs when the team's down 3-1. You want their veterans to step up and say, chill out and relax. I'm okay with that. But I don't like this price tag. I'm with you, man. It wouldn't surprise me to watch something. Look at yesterday's biggest bomb of the day. Everybody was on the Yankees. Everybody was on the over. Well, guess what happened? The White Sox won and it stayed under. So wouldn't surprise me. These boys are sneaky. I'm surprised the lid's not out. You got a tough one here, though. You got the script writing. You got the orange lid. I mean, what do? Flip a coin, flip a hat, see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I have the hat in the other room. I thought I'd let the hair flow here a little bit in the early going of the show here. I have some buy hats a little later in the show, but just final point on that. Like, we're talking all sports here. It's Friday. I'll give you guys one name, Kobe Bryant. Every day that guy showed up to the gym, he showed up to win. Didn't matter. It's his lifestyle. It's who he is as a person. I just want guys that are winners. They don't show up to lose ever. That's just who they are. So when I hear that, we're not bringing it. I personally, when I wake up, I'm bringing it every day of my life. Like, come on. We don't have soft days. Like, we'll do that when we're not here on this planet. So, guys, that's why you guys are hanging out on MLB Bases Loaded. We're gamers on this show. We love to win. And let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, staying in the evening slate here, going to New York City. We're going back. Yankees hosting the Reds. What a funky series this is. You get Cam Schlittler against Brett Lauder. The Yankees are laying 258, looking a little heavier in the market now, approaching 300. I hate the Reds. They stink, and the Yankees are coming off a loss. Mike, is it that square? Did the Yankees just clean house tonight?
Probably. Right. I mean, look, they put themselves in a position where they could punt that game against the White Sox. So as much as I give it to them and say 5-1, I mean, Jazz Chisholm came out of the offense. He came out of the lineup. What was it, around the third inning? Kind of a little bit of a problem out there when you're already down a guy like Aaron Judge. So the Reds do play well in series openers. I will say that. I will give him that benefit of the doubt here, but it's Schlittler, man. This guy's on fire. Give him a bad team, a sub 500 team with a pretty lofty total. 11-1. He's won 11 straight games here. The way I thought that you play this one is you got to take Schlittler to get the win. However, it's juicy. Even that's juicy. So look at that. Cam Schlittler to record the win is minus 120. So I've got him parlayed up with another feller later on in the card here. But this is a tricky spot, man. I mean, yeah, look, I'd like to be involved with the Yankees, maybe first 5 again, minus a half. But look at the price. I just talked about it the last game. Same thing as this exists for me here. 258 is a tough tag to get behind. So for what it's worth, I do like Schlittler to get the win.
Yeah, again, this game is just kind of out of the market here. I mean, you make some comments about this guy, Brett Lauder, young pitcher, just turned 24 years old. He is actually 2-0 at the American League, interestingly enough. Did catch a win at Texas 2-0. Did beat the Rays 6-1. And both were coming off a previous home start where he was efficient. Clearly not in this line range. But I do think you could see some value here on the plus 1.5. I'm actually looking at the market now. I think you could probably get like significant plus odds on that. The spread is actually, it's right around neutral, but you can get Reds plus 1.5 at plus 117. I think Lauder will shove. I think Schlittler has, to a certain degree, regressed down a little bit. You know, we've seen this with a lot of these pitchers that have been super hot in the early window of their career. The league figures it out a little bit. I would lean towards plus 1.5 if I had to. Our guy in the chat says Cincinnati Reds money line. It's a big dog spot. What's the number on that? The number is plus 245. Best of luck there. Great price. I think +1.5 is the best look. And we will keep it moving. Next game on the card.
Shark, before we roll on, we got to shout out our guy, Stop Geo Engineering. You coming through with the gifted sports money membership here, my guy. Stop Geo, an OG since day one. And more importantly, blessing our action for the day. Early in the card, a kind gesture of goodwill to not only build our community, but bless our betting action this afternoon. And we appreciate you, my guy, Stop Geo. Thanks for always being around. Commenting as well, post-show production. Just an OG helping us grind it out and grow the Sports Money Network community. Appreciate you, Stop Geo.
Yeah, much appreciated. If you guys in the chat, drop your comments, and we will interact with you guys. We want to really bring some energy to the conversation, if possible. But Mike and I certainly have the energy today. Let's keep it moving down the line. Next game of the card, Giants-Marlins in Miami, opening up a series tonight. Looks like we're getting Landon Roop off a rainout yesterday at Cam Schlittler was not just traded to the Marlins.
He's playing for both teams today.
Just traded in the last 30 seconds.
Breaking news.
We get Lake Bakar on the bump for the Marlins. I said this the last time Lake took the bump. The name reminds me of the lead singer for an 80s rock band. Lake Bakar coming out on stage tonight, but no, he's pitching for the Marlins. Truthfully, tough game for me. Mike, any thoughts?
There's a couple of spots this afternoon here, specifically with San Francisco and Atlanta, where it's kind of funked up, right? Because they had these delays, and Roop was supposed to pitch previously, and we know he's kind of a pile, right? We were fading him the other day against Atlanta, so why does the cap change? If anything, it's kind of accentuated in the fact that he's got the extra rest on top of it. So, and he's starting a new series as opposed to the way things kind of left. The problem I have is it's the Marlins at home and a series opener on top of that. So always a tricky spot here. The National League dogs on the road have been pretty profitable the last couple of weeks, and you're fading the Marlins in the game one of a series. Reminder, you're 63%. So, how do you argue with those numbers? I guess I would argue with it and say that the volatility with the pitching change in Landon Roop certainly make that prevalent for me here. I think you take the Marlins at a nice price tag here. Kind of fade the contrary, or fade the norm. The norm is to fade the Marlins in game one of the series. You know what? We would normally look to fade the pitcher on a change of rotation here. So I think that's the way I want to go. I want to get with this Miami Marlins here. -112. Yeah, we got some cash coming in on the Marlins. Does it scare me a little bit that it's such a low tag? Not really. It's Lake or whatever that's going out there on the other side of things here. So this one strictly has to do with Miami getting the job done for me, especially against a low-hitting team like the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it kind of carries over from what we said yesterday. We said yesterday we really liked the Braves. I had suggested yesterday the Braves would hammer down on Roop by, potentially 5+ runs. Now he gets to stay one day later. Now he's not on his usual schedule in terms of the rotation. And now he's got to go to Miami. So I don't think this gets easier. I think it gets more difficult. This is a bullpen game for the Marlins, but I think the line shows strength. Just cross-reference with yesterday. The Braves, who have a much better record, were laying only like 140. This is -130 for Miami. So I would lean towards Miami. I think this is a tough spot for Roop. If you guys want to take this, take Miami. And let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. Next game on the card, 7:10 in Tampa. Nats traveling interleague baseball to the Rays, opening up a weekend series here. Cade Cavalli at Griffin Jacks. A lot of moving parts in this game. These teams really are not rivals by any stretch. Mike, any thoughts?
Well, looking at the spot here with Tampa at home, we know that's been just the buy position. The problem is Griffin Jacks is sporting almost a 5 ERA at home. So he's lost 4 straight games, but it's not because he's given up runs. And that's kind of the amazing part about it, is just the team got into that flat spot. Now, that being said, 3 of his last 4 starts were on the road. So, give him some opportunity to come back and fire. Now, the Nationals, awful loss, do like to bounce back, especially on the road. They're 23-14. But look, Tampa Bay, man, both teams coming off a loss. They have equal rest. The favorite's a favorite for a reason, and it's cashed 12 straight times. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Take yourself some Tampa Bay Rays and thank me in the morning.
I won't be thanking you, Mike. I got the Nats. Take a Nats +113. And you kind of laying me into it, but why is the line so short? Is it free money? I don't think so. I think they lose, and here's why. First of all, run differential. The Tampa Bay Rays are one of the biggest fool's gold team in all the sport, and they're finally regressing. They were leading the AL East, and their run differential was terrible. They're still 11 games over 500, only +5. If you guys look at this metric, a team with this record should be far better than +5. You know who is better than +5? The Nats. The Nats actually have a +15 run differential. They're 10 runs better than the Rays, but 8 games worse. Not only that, you get a chance, as you said, to fade Griffin Jax at home. This guy's not a starter. He's a converted reliever. He's bounced around. He's been on a bunch of teams. He's been in middle relief. He was a closer at one point. He's just not a starter. And his only home start in recent history outside of the division, similar line range, he was laying about 160. Actually, it was heavier, so this is shorter. He took a loss versus Detroit 10-9. He was terrible in the game. 6 earned runs, 3 home runs against, and only 4 innings pitched. And you talk about Cade Cavalli here. This guy is listed as the 1A starter for the Nats. He's 3-1 versus the American League. He's 1-0 on the road against the American League, right in this line range. Beat Cleveland 6-3 at +125. And Mike, as you said, Washington just playing great on the road. They're 23-14 on the road. They're 8-4 in series openers on the road. And I think this is a really tough spot for Tampa as the final point. Tampa just played 6 consecutive games in California. They played 3 at the Angels. Then they played 3 real tight games at the Dodgers, losing all 3 by 1 run. So you get on a plane, you fly across country off 3 losses, 3 playoff-style games. Now you got to get up for the Nats, who are ready to go. I think the Nats will win this game, but we can disagree. It is a beautiful conversation, as always.
Our guy tuned out as I was about to tune him up with some thoughts and stats here, you guys. The Rays in the series openers this season. Game number 1 of a series, just in general. The Rays are 16-8. Let me fix this banner here. There we go. 16-8 are the Rays at home in series openers in general. So they do fire it off. And I do think that the point that he commented there and saying that the LA Dodgers are, that's the future World Series champs, defending World Series champs. So there is that opportunity to consider the fact that, they wanted to test themselves against the best of the best. Cade Cavalli, when the total's 8 or higher, he's 1-8. So absolutely final point on this game here is probably take a shot with this Tampa Bay Rays first 5 as well. But Tampa Bay for me, we will move on and let's cash with this Brewers and Atlanta spot. Our guys back and ready to attack here. Perez and Mizorowski. Shark, did you know the very first player prop given out on this show, day 1 of Major League Baseball, was Mizorowski to get the win by yours truly? Did I know in advance that he was going to have the best ERA in baseball? I don't know. We got Perez on the other side, though, Shark. And here's the question. Does this game fall under the trap that we just talked about with Roop and starting a series after the delay yesterday? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. This is a tough spot. At some point with these guys like Mizorowski, when does the party end? I mean, it's not going to end anytime soon for this guy. I think he's probably got at least a decade of dominance in front of him. But when you're coming off one of the best starts in Major League history, how do you back that up? I mean, I don't know. The last start, 9 innings, complete game shutout, 1 hitter against the Phillies, 15 Ks. I mean, the last time I remember a game like that, truly for a young pitcher, it was Kerry Wood going back to the late 90s with the Cubs. Just elite stuff. And you watch this guy pitch, he makes it look so effortless. Like he's throwing 100+ miles an hour on every single pitch. And he also just has great pliability. His extension drives him like he's almost like dunking the ball in the catcher's mitt. He's like throwing the ball like 5 feet from the plate, it feels like. He's just an absolute genetics prototype at the highest level. I don't see it stopping, Mike. I think he's going to win this game. I think if you look at the numbers, he's just a sustainable god at this point. Don't fade him, but I honestly haven't gotten there yet because I couldn't figure out -175 coming off of the best start of his career. Did you get anything in this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go to the under 7.5 in this game. I think that both these pitchers can go out there and shove. I think, again, the Perez factor for me, it's very much like the Roop. I'd want to take Mizorowski. Brewers, do you read into that game yesterday? I mean, we gave out the -1 as an official spot there at even money, and they did not get the job done, but they afforded themselves the ability to punt. So how do you read into that game? And their pitcher comes ahead and he's ready to play ball. So I think he does continue to shove. I like this again, another one of them spots. Atlanta team total under 1.5. And I told you guys, I have a couple of players to get the win parlays out there. This Mizorowski is another leg of the parlay. It's 3 legs. It's plus 630 for 3 pitchers to get the wins. So player number 1 was Schlittler. Player number 2 is Mizorowski. Stay tuned to hear what player number 3 is to complete the plus 626 parlay.
Yeah, just one final point on this. The last time we talked about this situation with Mizorowski, I basically went down the line and I said every one of his wins is like a mirror image of itself. 6-0, 7-1, 5-1, 5-2, 2-0. It basically, when he pitches well, every game's an under and they win by some margin. So sometimes it doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's pretty much what I think is going to happen in this game. I think the Brewers win. I think it's low scoring, and we will leave it at that. Let's keep it moving down the line. A couple more, handful of more games here, actually. A lot of stuff going on. Next game on the card, first game in the 8 o'clock window tonight, Padres at Rangers, opening up a series here, interleague baseball. Randy Vasquez at Jacob deGrom. Rangers just got swept yesterday with emphasis against the Twins. Padres traveling across here to the American League. Mike, what's going on here?
This is leg number 3. How about that? You didn't have to stay tuned very long to catch the third leg of the player prop parlay. It is one Jacob deGrom here. This guy is a beast, man. Team's on a 2 or more game losing streak. Jacob deGrom is the stopgap. He's 13-0, and they're winning by significant margin. They're coming out there winning by 4.5 runs. So now when you look at trying to apply the trend, right, the trend is kind of like, here's what the books are seeing, right? Here's what happens in history. And so that's kind of where I believe they set the lines against it, right? Then you kind of dig in deeper and you say, okay, well, can we validate the trend out there? Well, we got the Padres, who don't score a lot of runs. We got Vasquez, who's kind of a POS. And we put him on the road in Globe where it's an under. So an under team in an under field with a winner that goes out there 13 straight dubs, putting up a margin of 4.5. Yeah, I don't see why Texas Rangers can't come out there and take that belt and put it right up against those butt cheeks and give it a couple of cracks. Shark, what do you think about that?
I completely agree. Bring down the hammer in Arlington. Jacob deGrom, let's cash. I wish I had a hat for this one. I don't have a Rangers hat, but I'd certainly put it on. I love the run line, Mike, -1.5. Going to be on that and the money line. We're going big on this one. You said all of it. Just jumping off it further, there's something about Jacob deGrom versus the National League as well. And friendly reminder, guys, deGrom pitched for the Mets from 2014 to 2022. He loves pitching against National League competition. I can guarantee you guys, if you ask this guy some questions and maybe put him on a polygraph test so he couldn't BS you, you'd say, dude, there's something big about facing the National League, right? He'd be like, yeah, I like just taking care of those teams that I used to dominate in my 20s. And as you said, this is where the Padres are not going to show up. The only 2 earned runs that deGrom has given up all year against the National League were solo home runs to O'Neal Cruz of the Pirates and Shohei Ohtani in a road game at the Dodgers. Very unique stuff there. He doesn't give up runs unless he gives up home runs, and I don't really see the lineup for the Padres teeing off on this guy. Notice who those guys were. Tall, left-handed batters. Who were the batters for the Padres? Machado, Tatis, Bogarts, Merrill, and Duhar, others. They're mostly right-handed bats, and they're certainly not that tall. I could see deGrom throwing 8 innings, 0 runs. Mike, I completely align. I think this is a blowout. Absolute final point on this. Vasquez, first time all year, 2 consecutive road starts. He's looked way too clean on the road this year. He started to show signs in his previous road game at Baltimore of falling apart. And for those of you guys who bet against this guy last year, you remember, he's not a very good road pitcher. I think he gets crushed tonight. I absolutely love Texas in this spot. My complete alignment. As I said, bring the hammer. Let's go, Texas. Let's cash.
Shark, we got some fresh content here, my guy. We talked about smash it, let's cash it. No comments about belt to butt cheeks? Come on.
That's yours. Belt to ass. Swing the belt. Oh, that'll be the guys hitting home runs off of Randy Vasquez here. And one final point, because I just love data, and it's a great one. San Diego is also 0-3 straight up Friday night road games at American League opponents. So this all boxes check, guys. Take the Rangers and let's cash. Next game on the card, Guardians Astros weekend series tonight in Houston, opening Tanner Bibee at Tatsuya Imai. Tough game here for me, Mike. Any thoughts?
Love this spot tonight, you guys. And it's one of them tricky, cheeky little you know what's out there here. Tanner Bibee, he stinks. He can't win. You got to fade Bibee. Guess what? Now that everybody is singing that tune, we want to get back on the bus out there. My guy Shark talks about when the fans are selling, we're buying, and that's what we're going to do right here, especially in this unique situation where he's less than a minus 160. So think about it. He's pitched so well, and at least in his early career, that he's been a pretty bloated favorite with these Cleveland Guardians. He's pitched so poorly now that he actually triggers a huge winning opportunity at 62%, 52-32 when he's less than a minus 160 favorite. And look, he's got the Astros on the same side of things here. Like, do you really want to buy the Astros with Imai? That's your question, I guess. But this team is boom or bust, man. They can certainly disappear. We saw the Guardians hold court against the Yankees. The Astros, they're not in the same league. They're not at the same level right now. And then, you know, my last point on this game, 38% of the bets, 65% of the cash, indicating some sharper action coming in on this Guardians at plus 113. I love this price tag. I think this is a really good opportunity for us to buy in on the Guardians. And Shark, I'll go one further. It wouldn't surprise me if by game time, these guys are even a minus 105 or a minus 110.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. We've been looking at Tanner Bibee all year. I've been saying how bizarre this cluster has been for this guy, losing, I believe it was something like 10 straight starts. I mean, like, outrageous. The guy's got high-quality stuff. He should not be losing that many games in a row. And this guy, Imai, just does not look particularly comfortable on an American mound. Actually, after his first career start, I think they said he really was just not comfortable in the United States. Just couldn't find any sort of connection to food, time frame, you know, being across the world, the living conditions, just not where you want to back this guy. I would lean towards the Guardians. Mike likes it officially. Let's cash and let's keep it moving. Next game on the card, going back to Kansas City tonight. Kansas City in the in-state rivalry game here. Royals-Cardinals. Lugo against McGreevy. We saw it last night. Noah Cameron and the boys said enough is enough, and they laid down 2 touchdowns on the Cardinals, 14-6. Now we get round 2, Mike. What's going on here?
Dude, what a disappointing game yesterday for me, anyhow, because I was loving that St. Louis spot. They came out early, and I was like, here we go. And then Kansas City had an explosion, around the 3rd or 4th inning. And the funny part was, it was one of those emotional roller coasters where it was like, it was like quicksand. The more I moved around, the deeper I sank. And meaning I'd look and I'd see St. Louis scored a run. Then they scored 2 more runs. And then Kansas City would come back, and then bang, they scored. Kansas City put 2 more runs up there. So did the bats get heated up? Are they ready to roll? Do I want to fade McGreevy? The answer is yes, I think, in all accounts. And I'll take a plus 108 with the Kansas City Royals again here. You know, we talked about when does the tide turn? The series has to hit reset, and St. Louis has to start regressing. Maybe we're in the middle of it, and I don't want to be too late to get on the party. So give me a plus 108 with the Kansas City Royals.
Disagreement, unfortunately, here. The buy hat is engaged. Night 1 Royals, night 2 Cardinals, and the line agrees. Last night I said it was a really stinky line for the Royals, favored with Cameron. It flips the other direction. And this is a zigzag series. It's interleague. This is where you follow the line, in my opinion. But you look at McGreevy here. When I was handicapping this a few hours ago, I was actually shocked to see how good the data is. This is actually his 8th start already this year against the American League. He's been great. 39 2/3 innings pitched. Only 33 hits, 8 walks. So very low whip, sustainably big sample. Only 11 earned runs. He's also staying on the road off a loss at Minnesota. What's the point there? He was an underdog. He's been an underdog in all 7 games this year against the American League. This is the first time he's favored. That is incredibly strong, in my opinion. And he is 2-0 on the road if it's the second consecutive road start. This guy struggles coming home to road, staying on the road. He finds his flow in the second start, and he is 2-0 as a road favorite at within this season. Did win at Washington by margin and win at the A's by margin. Final point on this. We talk about the Royals and the Cardinals and this rivalry within Missouri. I think the Royals are just in a tough spot here in terms of their actual personnel tonight. Seth Lugo is on the bump. In his last start, he got hit in the head with a pitch and got knocked out of the game with a concussion. It was actually really pretty gross to watch. And now he's pitching a week later. I find it hard to believe he's 100% and he's going to be comfortable in this spot. And not only that, but Bobby Witt Jr. got hurt last night. So they're missing their best player as well. So you got a pitcher coming off a concussion, and not a concussion because he ran into, tripped in the driveway or something. He literally got hit in the head with a ball, and he's got to get right back on a mound. So I just think the number, McGreevy, the injuries, the situation, the buy hat is engaged. Mike and I are suddenly developing a rivalry in the Missouri battle. Patrick Mahomes, where you at? Got to come hang out with us on this one. Friday night showdown. It will be, and we will keep it moving.
Shark, I'll tell you one thing I'd add in there. If I had to rank some of my least favorite teams in baseball, these two would probably be sitting right there, fighting for the last position on the card here. I'm not entirely sure which teams I like less than these two, but just mediocre baseball. It's like, they seem to always be playing each other. They always seem to be the opposite side of where I think they should be. And these teams just fall under the not a fan club. But if you are a fan club of what we're doing here, then we ask you guys simply take a second to smash the thumbs up button. If you haven't done so already, it does help us out an absolute ton. Something that we really try to focus on here is engagement with you guys in the chat. Shark talks about it all the time. Wake up, get your coffee, and get your comments in the chat. But moreover, post show, get some comments out there on the show itself. Go back into YouTube and put your best bets out there. We're going to put a nice little contest together coming next week. And so we want to get you guys making some comments on the videos after the show. We'll talk more about that as we kick off next week. But in the meantime, if you haven't done so already, give that thumbs up button a smash and we'll get back to work.
Appreciation, always appreciated, guys. If you haven't dropped a like on the video yet, please do it right now. It takes literally the energy of a squirrel. We're humans. We're not squirrels. Let's dominate together. Next game on the card. Go to course. Big dog baseball here, surprisingly. Not so much because these teams are that great, but I feel like this is just a really entertaining game we're going to see tonight. You get the explosive Pirates and you get the Rockies at home. It's Friday night, the last Friday of the spring. In Denver, altitude. Mike, we talk about this almost every show. We actually haven't said it this week, crazily enough. It's Friday. It's the first one, and I'll say it. This is the circle on the calendar game for me. No, not my personal revenge game where I would love to hang out and have some beers with Mike on a Friday night. Mike, this is going to be a fun game. What do you think about the actual handicap of the game?
Oh, man, I think it's definitely going to be a fun game to watch here. Probably going to see some runs. The Pittsburgh Pirates have, we saw what they did there with the Athletics, right? Runs. Pirates as road dogs are 12-4, which is really remarkable here. And they're not the dog situation, but you know what? They're not a huge favorite either. This is a big, steep total at 11.5. So that does scare me a little bit. I can't back off of I'm going to stand on it. I commented on it. I said to you guys, the Pirates probably going to be 4-20 to finish it off here. And they picked up 2 wins since then. But Freeland, this guy, I don't know. I mean, what are they doing? They're kind of serving him out to the Wolves here. The guy's got an 8 ERA in his last 3 starts. He's given up 24 hits, 15 runs in 16 innings. Those aren't starter numbers, but the problem is they got nobody else. So this is probably why Coors gets that bad rep from a pitching perspective, right? Nobody wants to go there and get roasted and toasted because your career ERA can't recover from a trade to the Colorado Rockies. But, I'll go in a different direction here. I like some player props in this game. I'm going to take a little Brian Reynolds. I like Brian Reynolds over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Minus 110. The guy's literally out there destroying lefties. He's got a 322, 997 OPS. I think it's a good opportunity. He's hitting 458 in the past week on top of that thing. So 7 RBIs for this character. Brian Reynolds, minus 110, over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. You can take his Ribby as well. Why not? I'll take a look and see what his RBI price tag is. But that's the way I'm going to attack this game here. It's not my favorite on the board.
Mike, I have a great trivia question for you. And if you get it, I'll send you a bottle of wine.
I want that maroon lid you're talking about, or that soft baby blue lid you're talking about if I get this thing.
I'll do one of those too. If you get this, I will be highly impressed. And the chat, we'll give the chat a second as well. Okay, so we're talking about pitchers and cores, and we're talking about guys really not wanting to sign contracts there. It's one thing to get drafted. It's another to really sign a big contract there in the free agent market. Before Alex Rodriguez signed the biggest contract in MLB history, there was a pitcher who signed with the Colorado Rockies in the free agent market. He was an all-star pitcher, and it was the biggest contract at the time in Major League history. Mike, who is that pitcher?
God.
And if anybody in the chat has it, feel free to type it in. And don't look on the internet, please. If you.
I'm thinking about it here. I don't know. I'd like to throw a name out there, but I'm thinking of I don't know. Give it to me.
Mike Hampton.
Nah, I wouldn't have gotten that in 1,000 guesses, dude.
The Rockies signed Hampton to an 8-year, $120 million contract on December 9th, 2000. It was the largest contract in baseball history at the time, although it would be quickly surpassed by Alex Rodriguez's 10-year, $252 with the Rangers only 2 days later. And at that time, Hampton had gone to the World Series with the Mets in the Subway Series in 2000. He was an elite pitcher in New York. He had just gone to the World Series, and he sacrificed his career signing for big bucks, going out to Colorado, and just getting rocked for years at Coors. Mike, that is just fascinating stuff because that is precisely why nobody ever signs free agent contracts with the Rockies as pitchers. Great, right?
That's there's two places I shouldn't say two places. One place I definitely don't want to play baseball is Colorado Rockies. You know what I mean? Like if you're a hitter, that's great. It looks nice and it's fun, but if I was a pitcher, just keep me away from Coors. I'd even tell them like, oh, I got the flu. I can't make the flu game for me is when I call out because I'm load management when it comes to Coors Field. I don't want that on my ERA. I don't want it in my stats. It's a kiss of death, but fun baseball to watch. You're right. This would be a great game to go see live and probably get a nice $5 ticket. Go out there and watch Bubba Chandler, grab a couple of gummies, fire down a couple of drafts, and I don't know, what kind of food do they eat in Colorado?
Probably ribs, probably some slow cooked meats. I would
they're
imagine
doing barbecue in Colorado, huh?
All right. So.
Get yourself a little barbecue after the game. And if anybody's from Colorado, put in the chat what you guys eat out there. What's your staple? What's the food of choice for Denver and the Colorado area?
Yeah, absolutely. And, I'm going to give you guys an official play in this. We're kind of circling all the wagons on this one, guys. Take what I just said. What are we taking in this game, guys? Come on. We're taking the over, clearly. This is going to be 15 runs in this game. And, the last time Pittsburgh played 3 road games in Colorado last year, the first game of the series had the same line. It was a Friday night, I believe. The line was 11.5. And the final score was Colorado 17, Pittsburgh 16. I swear, it sounds like Broncos Steelers. That's like a very viable football score. And it was the Rockies versus the Pirates. And in that series, the over was 3-0. Even Skeens went over in this stadium 8-5 last year. And Keller went over 9-5. You're going to see a ton of runs in this game. Freeland is a gas can. Chandler's very young. He's from the East Coast. He will not travel to altitude. You're going to see 15 runs in this game. Take the over and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line. More late night baseball. On this Friday evening, Angels A's game 2 at Sutter Health Park in Sacramento. We said it last night. We thought the A's would hammer down. They made it easy. 5 runs in the first, and that was that. Good game. Mike had the under correctly as well. Mike, we like divisional baseball. There's good data. That's why we nail these games. What's going on here?
Shout out to my guy, 22 Spreads. He says, my birthday this weekend, fellas, turning 32. Wanted to take a second to say happy birthday, my guy. Appreciate you tuning in on the regular with us, being a part of this thing that we're doing here. And he had a funny comment that made me laugh. He says, they eat snow in Colorado. That's what they eat out there. So don't eat the yellow snow, shark, is what they tend to say around here. But in any event, look, I was almost in full panic. I went super heavy bet on the under 10 last night, thinking like it was the last game on the card. That tends to happen to me when there's like these island spots, like good day. Let's push some of these chips in and let's see what we can do with it. And boy, 5 runs and I was in full-fledged panic. So my goodness. Stop Geo says 22 Spreads, can't even see him in the chat because he's on Twitter. He's watching us on X, Stop Geo, but we do appreciate you guys. If you can, migrate on over to the YouTube page, check out what's going on there. But point is, Sirianni, and I was going to text you this last night, like, what the fuck? He was supposed to start yesterday, literally. And I recognized that last night as I was putting the graphics together for today, because I was like, shit, I already have Jose Sirianni in this spot. So I'm not sure what happened there. I don't like that situation. I do like another player prop that I want to get involved with here. It's going to be Joe Adell, of course, Mr. Angel himself. Angel on his shoulders. Take his over hits, runs, and RBIs in this game here as well. Probably another situation where, yeah, lucky to get the under last night. But I think the Angels probably do some business tonight here. We'll have to see what it looks like in the long shake here. But I know in game 2, the Angels dogs in this spot are in a fantastic 9-2 position. So I like the Angels. I like some plus money. I'll take a shot.
Yeah, I'm going to go to the over in this particular game. Last night, I thought we might see more runs due to Soriano, and of course, when that pitching change went down, it went to an under. But I think you're going to see an over tonight. And also, just look at the line, guys. This is Jose Soriano on a 10.5 line. This is about the 5th time this year I've said on this show. You have a supposed ace pitcher on a 10.5 line. You should just really take notes of how transparent that probably is to more runs in the game. And you look at Springs. Springs is just an over pitcher at home. I mean, it's pretty transparent here. His last 3 home games at Sutter Park, 10 runs against St. Louis, 11 against San Francisco, 10 against Seattle. He's coming off of 2 games in Vegas last week. He actually was part of the only 2 significant overs in the entire series. He was part of the first game, 15-14, and he was part of the last game on Sunday, June 14th, 23-9. So Springs here, 33 years old. He is not in good form. And you want to talk about line functionality because I love to talk about it. Soriano did face the Athletics at home in Anaheim on a Thursday night in May the 21st. He pitched well, and the game was far under the total against Luis Severino, 3-2 in extras. The line number there was 8.5. So less than 2 months removed, we're moved up 2 full runs with the same pitcher. You're going to see a lot of runs in this game. It's Friday night. You saw an under last night. The bats will be alive tonight. Take the over and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. Twins Diamondbacks opening up an interleague series this weekend in Arizona. You talk about non-rivals. This is probably number 1A on this card. Well, I could swear these guys, these teams play in two different leagues. Like this is like international league versus major league here. I think there's barely any rivalry data here, but I do think there's a pretty nice little element to this game. Mike, what do you think?
I found it hard. I found this tricky spot because as I was looking at the cap on this one, I started looking at the pitchers. It's just one of those games where I just couldn't really find much of a dominating side. I don't like the price. You know, that kind of scares me off of this thing just a little bit. And then I started looking at the total and it was like, man, I see 8.5. You know, you commented on that last game with the total and seeing it flying out of the number there. Open south of 9 to me, that's a little bit of a red flag when it comes to runs. I'd like to see runs, but I don't see that from Twins being consistent enough to back them. So this game for me is just ugly. You know, I'll say when it came down to it, if I had the free pick, I'd probably go Arizona -1. I just can't get there. I don't like either of these sides.
That's fine. I'll help you out.
Okay.
I can. The buy hat is engaged. We're taking Arizona money line and run line. Very similar handicap to the Rangers spot. And our guy in the chat said something above, and Mike, I think you can probably put it on the screen about the run line dynamic currently in baseball, hitting at 72% or something of wins. It's very real. There's a lot of competitive gaps in these wins, and I think you're going to see it tonight with significance. Soroka is actually coming in here off a loss on the road. He is 3-0 off a loss in his last three. So he's a bounce back pitcher. Not only that, I think it's a great spot to fade the Twins. Mike, look at what we're doing here, actually. We're buying heavily the Rangers, having gotten swept by the Twins, and we're selling the Twins heavily, having just swept the Rangers. So it's really reactionary to that series that just went down in Texas. And I really think this is going to be a tough spot for Minnesota this year. Not only that, we do have data. Minnesota is 0-2 in the game following a sweep this year. So when they sweep a team, they don't come back well. And one really precise point, out of division road game on a Friday night as a significant underdog on April 10th. They had just swept Detroit. They went to Toronto. It was out of their division. It was funky travel, which this could be categorized as down in the desert in Arizona where they never compete. And they got their ass kicked 10-4. The game was uncompetitive from the jump. Soroka will pitch great. He has pitched fantastic this year at home outside of the division as a favorite. Only 3 earned runs in 17 innings pitched, 21 Ks. And he does dominate the American League at home. This is an elite level handicap. Really great stuff. The buy hat is engaged. Take Arizona and let's cash. Keeping it moving down the line here. A couple more games tonight. 10-10 in Los Angeles. Orioles-Dodgers opening up a weekend series here. Roki Sasaki against Trey Gibson. Orioles kind of in a funky spot. Shutout yesterday at Seattle. Now they got to go out to Los Angeles, Mike. What's going on here?
They get shut out back-to-back games. Is it just my imagination? Or
no, they won the first. They won the second game 5-3, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, 3-1 loss, 5-3 win, 3-0 loss, LA Dodgers. Sasaki, though, you got to look at this guy's strikeout prop. One of the few spots on the card today. You know, I've been tossing some K props out there. We've been having a pretty good run of it here, but I think I can get behind this one, you know, because we're seeing, well, frankly, look at what happened in that Seattle series. Like a lot of swing and miss opportunities for, you know, the Baltimore Orioles offense. They're just not showing very strong discipline right now at the plate. And you're going to Dodgerville where you're going to want to swing for the fences, right? You're going to want to try to put up the big numbers against the big squad out there, the defending World Series champions. And that's going to lead to higher miss rate, higher whiff rate. And I think that's a good opportunity. 6.5 strikeouts is plus 120 for Sasaki. You know, as far as the side's concerned, yeah, I mean, I lean to the Dodgers. There's no question about it. This price tag at minus 194, what are you going to do? You got to lay a run line. So do you want to lay a run line at home? You got the wind blowing out, by the way, 9 miles an hour. So when it comes down to it, I think I could see myself getting behind a total in this game. But for now, I'm going to go with the Sasaki. Trey Gibson, if you dig into this guy with that 5.91 ERA, he's never seen anybody on the Dodgers lineup. So we don't really have a lot of hitting data around these guys. But the lefty-righty mix, you know, one of the better teams against righties happens to be the LA Dodgers. I mean, Ohtani's a 294, Pai's 284, Freeman 304. Right on down the line. Everybody's got strong numbers out there. But Sasaki, for me, should elevate, should be one of those guys. I'd even maybe consider him to get the win as well. I'm not going to put him as part of the parlay. I'll take a look at what he has to do as far as payouts are concerned. But I like his strikeout prop. Give me the over 6.5 Ks for Sasaki.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a Dodgers spot. I don't think Gibson's going to travel well here. He's actually in his first season. He was undrafted, kind of fought his way through the minor leagues. So not really a highly touted prospect at all. Only in the rotation due to injuries, clearly. And he's only had one road start in his career. And the final score was at the Yankees, 11-3 Yankees. So Trey Gibson grinded through the minors, and his first 2 road starts in the major leagues are at the Yankees and at the Dodgers. High degree of difficulty, to say the least. He's coming off of 4 consecutive home starts. Looked terrible in his last start, 6 earned runs against San Diego and only 4 1/3. 5 walks, 2 home runs. Those are not metrics you want to see. I'd rather see hits, a couple singles. I don't want to see walks. It speaks to a lack of control and poor scheme. And I don't want to see home runs because it means that he's not overpowering enough to get pitches by a guy. So those 2 metric points lead you to believe he's going to get rocked in this game. Like I could see the Dodgers opening up some margin in this game, and I think that's why the total's at 9.5 as well. I think that's all Dodgers, if I'm being honest. I think that's pretty much screaming blowout here. We see some of these lines minus 200 on like a 7.5. That means you're going to get a blowout with a pitcher's duel. This is a blowout with runs. Haven't gotten there yet. I mean, we could play 30 sides on this card as usual, but I think this would lean towards Dodgers by some margin. And as I said, probably runs mostly by the Dodgers getting you to an over. Bunch of looks in that game. We'll see what we finalize through the afternoon, and we'll keep it moving. Final game of the card, 10-10 in Seattle. Boston visiting the Mariners. Ranger Suarez at Bryce Miller. Red Sox cannot do anything, it appears. They are in complete disarray. Mariners just kind of hanging out at home in a comfort zone. Mike, I honestly just see a home win. What do you think?
Yeah, we talked about this, you and I, yesterday. Shame on that Toronto Blue Jays, Boston Red Sox spot. How about we just accept the fact that the Red Sox are just not locked in at all? I don't think these boys want to play baseball, period. And it's difficult to say that when it comes down to that price tag you have here, but hot take, Red Sox checked out of baseball. It started last year with Devers and the who's going to play first base, who's on first, what's on second. And the reality is that these boys just look checked out, man. I mean, you saw them against the Blue Jays. That's the team that got back-to-back shutouts, right? The Red Sox get smoke job by a suspect AL East opponent, and it's not inspiring whatsoever. The only time I'll probably look at the Red Sox going forward here has to do with probably when they play the Yankees, right? Because then that they always get fired up for that. It's the biggest rivalry in baseball. But in the meantime, I mean, yeah, Seattle or bust. But man, I just don't understand here. Seattle at this price, give me the minus. This is just a blind bet, minus 110. The Red Sox are just bad baseball.
Yeah, I agree. And also, you think about just what's going on with the Red Sox. You get swept at home by the Blue Jays. You got to fly across country to play a night game at the Mariners, like in the Pacific Northwest. I mean, you got the U.S. national team, the soccer team, playing this afternoon up in Seattle. Talk about hot city. I mean, I never thought we'd be saying this, but the U.S. men's national team, if they beat Australia this afternoon, Seattle is going to be bumping after that game. And then they get a home baseball game with Bryce Miller. And you look at Bryce Miller, I mean, this guy is beyond locked in right now. They kind of messed with him a little bit. They made him platoon games with Luis Castillo. The two of them were both like, what the hell is going on here? I don't know what they were trying to play with, but it's actually worked. Because after that, Castillo and Miller both look totally locked in. I think you kind of mess with them and say, listen, you might not have a career after this. All of a sudden, it awakens them. And Miller this entire season only has, I believe, 6 earned runs all year in 35 innings pitched. He's not going to give up runs, particularly to a Boston lineup that just cannot hit. 1 for 29 in their last 4 games with runners in scoring position. This is just a funeral game for me. You just don't bounce back on a plane ride to the West Coast after getting swept. It's just not where you find your energy. And then you get an ace pitcher who's totally in the zone, who's been like pissed off by his own manager benching him. No, this is Mariners all day. Suarez will pitch well. Suarez is a one-off. We'll just finish with this. Suarez has basically nothing to do with the Red Sox. The guy came up with the Phillies. He's been great. He's 30 years old. He's from Venezuela. He's going to shove because that's what he does. And I think he might know after the season he won't play for the Red Sox next year. So what I actually see here is I see a Mariners win in a low-scoring game. I see a pitcher's duel in this particular game. We'll give you guys the Mariners, and I do think an under's in play here as well. Mike, that's it for the rundown here. We're approaching about an hour, and we got best bets.
Shout out to everybody in the chat, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Shout out to Razor Sharp Picks, dropping his gambler's first glance. He does see a Red Sox spot out there, even though JP's telling him what he thinks about them Red Sox. Shout out to everybody. Have a great weekend, you guys. Happy Friday. Best bets segment coming up here. Drop it like it's hot. I gave you guys the pitcher wins parlay there. My brain stopped functioning for a second. Sorry about that. It's Friday. I love the Cubs. Cubs here. We love the Cubs in this spot, minus 116. I like the under in that spot as well. Tampa Bay minus 117. I'm going to go with the under 7.5 in Atlanta. Cleveland Guardians plus 113. And I'll take the Angels plus 144. I gave you guys a couple of player props as well. Brian Reynolds over 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. I'll give you the Sasaki-san over 6.5 strikeouts plus 128 as well to round out my card.
All right. Let me see what we have here. All right. I'll give you guys Texas minus 150.
Ugh.
Cardinals minus 113. Taking the over at Coors. You didn't give that one, did you, Mike?
No.
11.5. Taking the over in the Athletics game, 9.5. Is that still available? It was out there an hour ago.
Yeah, I saw some 9.5s.
9.5. We'll take the Diamondbacks on the run line. I think margin develops. I also failed to mention in that cap, Connor Prelip, rookie pitcher, not traveling well at all. He's going to get rocked there. The run line there is minus 1.5 plus 130. And we'll close it out with the late night spot. Did you give anything in that one, Mike, the final game?
No.
All right. I'll give you guys the under. The under is actually my best look in that game. I see a pitcher's duel. Under 6.5 plus 108.
Nice. Plus 108. Let's put a parlay together here, Shark. Let's take a fucking minute, dude. Let's get this parlay right tonight here, you guys. It's got that feel. It's got that air in the way here. What do you think here? We both like Miami, right?
I do like Miami. Yep.
All right. Let's take that spot there. Let's take
Brewers.
All right. Yeah. Let's take the Brewers.
And we had great conversation on the Dodgers as well.
All right. And we'll pop the Dodgers in there too. Miami, Milwaukee, LA Dodgers. We want this one tonight, you guys. Nasty Nate says the late night special. Shout out to me back in that drunken night. So anyhow, you guys, that's how we're going to do it here on a suddenly not so casual Friday, to steal my boy's words here, man. But steal his plays, because we have been red hot, Shark. The tide has turned, my friend. Plus 24 units, all given out here free the month of June. Bases loaded, heating up. Going to be a great weekend for sports. And of course, we got some great stalker action. I'll throw a bonus at you guys. Take the USA first half draw for Team USA against the Aussies, and keep an eye in the stands for them fans. I think it's going to be some nice eye candy. What's going on, Shark?
I mean, you're a lot, clearly. We got eye candy in Seattle. We got the game in Seattle, Lumen Field. We got the Mariners late. I mean, this is more than just the picks. This is the energy of the show. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We encourage you guys to get in the chat, because it's just more fun if we're hanging out at the bar. If people are not, sitting on the sidelines. But nobody's sitting on the sidelines tonight. It's going to be a beautiful Friday night, the last Friday of the spring. Always manage your bankroll so you can see the light of day tomorrow. As Mike said, we're showing upward momentum. I don't like to call it a heater, because this is data analysis. Heaters suggest we're kind of flipping coins in a casino and we're gonna give it back. We're not. This is where we have great information. It just continues upward momentum at all points in time once we get past month 2 in any sport, if we're being honest. Month 1 and 2, any sport, we're figuring it out, and then we dominate. It's what we do. Please drop a like and video on the post, guys, if you haven't already. It does help to spread the content through the algorithm, and we will see you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. That is it for this one. MLB Bases Loaded, Friday, June the 19th, 2026. For Mike, I'm the Shark. Stay fast, stay strong, stay disciplined, and let's dominate.
I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shit tastes sour, you should taste mine.